Hey Honors Math, it's Wednesday, April 29th. I am going to work through each of the 7 problems that you had on the weekly review, weekly practice number 2 that you got last Friday. What I want you to do is you need to go through each problem. Any one that you missed, you need to watch my video so you can figure out what you missed. I've been noticing you guys have been having a little bit of trouble, especially with the whole writing equations and slope-intercept form and the systems. So it would be good for you to watch me work these out. You will also be doing a reflection page, so make sure you notice that's in Canvas, okay? So here we go. All right, so here's number 1. We're writing the equation in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through -3, -4, -8, 2. So slope-intercept form, we need to remember that's y equals mx plus b. I don't know the slope, so the first thing I have to do is find the slope. So y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. I get 6 over -5. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my slope and I'm going to use one of those 2 points that were given to me. It doesn't really matter which. And I'm going to do y minus, I'm going to use the first point, so minus -4 over x minus -3. Okay, so now I'm ready to do the proportion method and cross multiply. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my 2 negatives positives. Slope-intercept form, so I want to go the y direction first, so -5 times y plus 4 equals 6 times x plus 3. Okay, when I multiply that out, I get -5y minus 20 equals 6x plus 18. Slope-intercept form, I'm going to add 20 to both sides. I get -5y equals 6x plus 38. Divide the entire problem by -5. And your answer for number 1 should have been -6/5 x minus 38/5. So that's problem number 1. Okay, here's problem number 2. Write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that has a slope of -4 and passes through -6/8. Okay, well, this time we already know the slope, so I'm going to plug that in, -4 over 1. And they give me my point, so y minus 8 over x minus -6. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make that bottom into x plus 6. I'm still going to slope-intercept form, so I'm going to write that formula down. I'm ready to cross multiply. I'm going to go the y direction first, so 1 times y minus 8, -4 times x plus 6. So that gives me y minus 8 equals -4x minus 24. Okay, I need to solve for y, so I just need to add 8 to both sides. So number 2, you should have the answer of y equals -4x minus 16. Okay, number 3. Again, slope-intercept form. I really like that one, I think. So number 3, I still want to go to y equals mx plus b form, but this time it tells me my x-intercept is -3 and my y-intercept is -8. That is not the point -3, -8. The x-intercept is -3. That means the line crosses here. That point is -3, 0. It also means the line crosses at 0, -8, which is down here. So that's the point 0, -8. So it's not the point -3, -8. It's you have to make ordered pairs out of those. So first thing I need to do is I need to do the slope. So y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I get -8 over 3 is my slope. Okay, so now I'm ready to take my slope and take one of the points that were given to me. Doesn't matter which one I use, I'll just use the first one. So I'm going to do y minus y sub 2 is 0 over x minus x sub 1. Whoops, I don't know why I wrote that. Sorry about that. X minus negative 3. Okay, so just like in the last problem, I'm going to make that minus and negative on the bottom into a plus. Okay, I'm ready to cross multiply. So I'm going to go the y direction first, then the x direction. Multiply, that's 3y. I don't need 3 times 0. Negative 8x minus 24. All I need to do now is divide the entire problem by 3. So number 3, the answer you get is y equals negative 8/3 x, and then negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8. So that's what you should have gotten on problem number 3. All right, problem number 4. So this time we're talking about parallel, and it has an x-intercept of 6, 0. So parallel to negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 18. Well, the first thing I need to do is I need to take that equation and I need to put it in standard form so I can find the slope. Right now it's not in standard form because it's got a negative out front. So I'm just going to switch all the signs. Now that's standard form. My shortcut for slope of standard form is negative a over b. It's a negative a. So if a is 2, therefore negative a is negative 2. B is negative 3, so my slope is 2/3. Okay, but we want parallel. Well, we talked about parallel lines have the same slope. So my new line's still going to have the slope of 2/3. And it crosses, or it goes through 6, 0. So now I'm going to use my information and I'm going to plug it in the formula. Okay, I'm ready to cross multiply. 3 times y minus 0 equals 2 times x minus 6. This gives me 3y. This gives me 2x minus 12. Solve for y, and I get y equals 2/3 x. Negative 12 divided by 3 is minus 4. So there's your answer for number 4. All right, here's number 5. Write the equation of the line perpendicular to y equals negative 3/4 x plus 4. So the slope of the given line is negative 3/4. Perpendicular is where we do the opposite reciprocal. So if I turn that over, that's 4/3, and the opposite of negative is positive. So my new slope is going to be 4/3, and it passes through the origin. Well, the origin is 0, 0. So there's my information. So I'm going to do 4/3. I'm going to do y minus 0, x minus 0. Cross multiply. 3 times y minus 0 equals 4 times x minus 0. So this just gives me 3y equals 4x. Solve for y, and I just get the answer y equals 4/3 x. Done. Number 6 says solve this system, but it doesn't tell us how to do it, so that means you can do any method you want. Well, I noticed that both of these are already in standard form and nice and lined up. I would use elimination. I already have a variable that's the same, so I would just subtract, and this gives me 3x minus 3x is gone. 5y minus 2y is 3y. Negative 16 minus negative 2 is negative 14. Oh, hold on a second. You probably already caught me. I just realized I made a mistake. So the mistake I made was 5y minus negative 2y is not 3y. That's 7y. How about that? Okay, so I'm going to solve for y, and I get y is negative 2. Now, I had a few of you on the last review or whenever these came into play, some of you just gave me one answer. You have to have an x and a y. So if I need the x, I need to substitute the y equals negative 2 back into one of the original equations to find x. So I'm going to use the top one. So 3x plus 5 and y is negative 2. So I get 3x minus 10 equals negative 16. Add 10 to both sides. 3x is negative 6. Divide by 3. X is negative 2. when you go to write your answer, you can either write x is negative 2, y is negative 2, or you write them as an ordered pair. If you write them as an ordered pair, you have to write them in correct order. Now this one wouldn't matter because they're both the same, but you have to write x then y. If you mix them up, then you'll miss them. All right, number 7, last problem. So on this one, they're both, neither one is, or I'm sorry, the bottom one is set up in standard form and the top one's not. I probably wouldn't use substitution because I can see that I already have some fractions. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first top equation and I'm going to put it in standard form. So if I subtract 7y from both sides, that'll put it in standard form. So I'm going to make it 2x minus 7y equals 9. So now my two equations that I'm going to work with are 2x minus 7y equals 9, and that original bottom one, negative 3x plus 4y equals 6. So I'm going to use elimination. I'm going to multiply the top one by 3, and I'm going to multiply the bottom one by 2. That way I can eliminate my x's. So my top equation turns into 6x minus 21y equals 27. My bottom one turns into negative 6x plus 8y equals 12. Okay, so I've got a 6x and a negative 6x, so that means I'm going to add the two equations to get rid of my variable x. Negative 21y plus 18y gives me negative 13y. 27 plus 12 gives me 39. Divide both sides by negative 13. That gives me y is negative 3. I got to find x, so I got to use one of the original two equations. So I'm going to use the top one. So if I take 2x equals 7 times negative 3 plus 9. So 2x equals negative 21 plus 9. 2x gives me negative 12. So x is negative 6. Now this one's really important that when you go to write your answer, you write it in the correct order. So it's not negative 3, negative 6. It's x then y. Negative 6, negative 3 is your answer on number 7. Okay, so what you should have been doing all through these problems was, any of them you missed, you should have been obviously watching me work it out and finding your mistakes. You need to complete the reflection page that you find in Canvas to tell me how you did on this, plus there's a couple more questions. And then you need to continue on the agenda today because you also have an exponents worksheet that you're doing for tomorrow, but you're only doing the odds. Okay? Have a good day. See you later.